Parent Entrepreneur Power. Conversation number 201.
Parent Entrepreneur Power.
Wait, what? Entrepreneur Power!
This is the podcast for parents juggling the tough choices required for success in business while putting family first. Hi, I'm Mary Catherine Johnson, and I share the ups and downs and dirty truths of profits and potty training while chatting with successful parent entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Are you powered up? Hey there, Power Parents. Guess who? Mary Catherine Johnson, and I am going to chat with someone who actually is pretty special on this show. She is the first person in this, quote, category, if you want to call it that, to grace the mic and chat about this subject that probably is impacting quite a few of you in the audience. So if I haven't wet your whistle with that, you're just going to have to hang on and find out what I'm talking about. So I'm going to welcome Whitney Nicely. She is the president of Whitney Buys Houses. Hey there, Whitney. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Mary. This is going to be fun.
I think it is. Yes. So, all right. We always start in the same place. Tell us your once upon a time story. So how did you become a parent and an entrepreneur at the same time?
I was an entrepreneur before I became a parent, so we'll have to start there. And I am a step parent. I'm a stepmom. I'm one of those women. Not the one that broke up the marriage, but the one that came 3 years afterwards and fell in love with a husband and 2 kids already driving. Driving golf carts, not driving cars.
Wow.
So I'm a stepmom, and I'm proud to be a stepmom. And we have a great step family kind of situation. There's no real drama there. So I get to focus on my entrepreneur journey, the kids, the husband, the baseball games, making dinner, and not worry about the drama that usually comes with step parenting. So they call me a Disney step parent because I've got the light, fluffy version.
Well, aren't you lucky? Yeah.
Yes.
I can imagine that there's a lot of people in the audience going, man, I wish.
Yes.
I wish that was my life.
When you boil it down, even as nice as I have it, there are some struggles. There's some scheduling conflicts. There's some nights and weekends, and there's some sicknesses, and there's some, oh no, I'm at work. Will somebody go get the kids? There's, some things that it does fall on me to do, even though it is a wonderful situation. And that is going to be in good step parenting or in the other side.
Yeah, the other side. We won't talk about that. Okay, so that's fantastic. So how long were you an entrepreneur before you became a parent?
I started flipping houses in 2009, and I went out on my own in 2014. And then we got married in 2015. So I've only been a stepmom for an official stepmom for 2 years, but I've been daddy's girlfriend since 2012. So 5 years I've been in the unofficial role of stepmom, and stepmoms will get that.
I'm sure. And dads, I'm sure.
Yes.
Wow.
I've been around for them for 5 years, and they're 10 and 12 now, both boys.
Oh yeah. So you were around when they were pretty young, and really they don't really probably know much of life beforehand.
The younger one doesn't. He doesn't
Right.
remember anything because they were so young. And the older one still kind of remembers mom and dad being together, but not really.
Yeah.
Mostly just like moving out. I think he remembers because that was
Traumatic.
a big moment.
Yeah. Traumatic. Yeah.
He remembers that, but he doesn't remember much else.
Wow. Okay. So, and you were flipping houses. So that's a pretty flexible type of entrepreneurial journey, right? I mean, you pretty much do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, a lot of phone work, a lot of visiting, and that kind of thing, but it's not like you got to go to an office and sit behind a desk and that kind of thing. Or am I wrong?
Well, when I started flipping houses, that was my 5th job. I am the 4th generation entrepreneur in my family. My great-grandfather started a dump truck company in 1939, and when I graduated college in 2007, I went to work for the trucking family, for the truck business, working for the family. And I had We had 4 companies and I worked for all 4 of them, and I did have a desk job. And then mom and I decided that we wanted to start flipping houses. So we started flipping houses after we left our desk job. So yes, now 8 years later, it is a bunch of phone calls and running around and making sure I'm meeting people and this and that and the other. And I don't even flip anymore because, whoo, honey, you want to talk about a job? That is a big one. You're literally flipping a house.
Yeah, you're actually
It's
in
not
there.
like the TV shows.
Yeah, right. No.
It's a big old job. You may not be at a desk, but it's a big old job, and I don't do that anymore. So,
Yeah.
but in the beginning, I was at a desk and flipping at night and on the weekends.
Oh my gosh. Crazy lady.
Yes, sometimes I thought so. Absolutely.
You need my gray hair sticking out everywhere to match
Yeah.
that kind of lifestyle.
And I met my husband in 2012. So I've been flipping for about 3 years and working 4 jobs. And to add to it, he lives in Atlanta and I live in Knoxville. So we have a long distance marriage right now. And I kind of unofficially moved in with him earlier this year. We'd been married for a year before we moved in together. And I still come to Knoxville for a week or 2 every month. So I don't know how much we actually really live together.
Oh, that's too much. Oh my goodness. Okay, so usually people live together first, then get married. Now you got married and now you live together afterwards. Occasionally.
I mean, you said I was a crazy lady. I've always been kind of weird. My situation is just unique. And as an entrepreneur, I have the ability to go spend time in Georgia. He's got a consultation gig right now in Tampa, so I can go to Tampa when he's in Tampa. I can come to Knoxville. I've got a triplex that we're trying to rent right now. He and I own apartments together. I own houses. He and I own apartments. And so I'm in Knoxville right now filling our triplex tomorrow before I go back to Georgia for the weekend for baseball tournaments.
Oh my gosh. Whew. You want to talk about scheduling conflicts. Now I get it.
I know, right?
Oh
Like,
my
I
gosh.
need to know a week in advance if you need me to
Be
do
somewhere.
something.
Yeah. Be anywhere other than where I need to be. Yeah. Wow.
But
Okay.
luckily, I would rather have this crazy life than the desk job, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Like, that would not suit me at all. I would be really crazy and pulling my hair out if somebody had to make me stay at a desk all the time. I would much rather be kind of scattered.
Yeah. Well, and for you, it's not really scattered, right? I mean, for you, it's this is life. This is normal. This is what you do. This is the energy in which you live, and you've made it an energy that's not. I mean, obviously, I'm talking to you. I can see you. You're not like bouncing off the walls. I mean, I have known people. There's one client in particular that I had when I was consulting with her, and the energy was like crazy. It was like bouncing off the walls, 2 cell phones going off at the same time. We'd be in the middle of a conversation. She'd go, and check her phone. I'm like, what the flip? What? And it was just like, oh, okay. All right. All right. Now, what were you saying again? It's like, whoa. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Calm down. You're going to have a heart attack pretty soon. You know?
But I know also the reason that I'm able to flip flop back and forth so much is because I am a step parent. If I was a mom, I would be dragging 1 or 2 around with me. Luckily, I'm a dog mom and she's under the table right here, and she's good to go wherever I want to go. So I think being a step parent right now in my life is why I am available to flip flop around and not feel like I'm, driving everybody crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you have been in business quite a while, since 2009. Of course, I can imagine that once the wonderful economy did its thing and the housing market just dropped like crazy, a lot of people that I know got into flipping houses around that time because it was a little bit of an easier market to get into. Not saying it was easy for you, that you didn't have a difficulty with it, but it was a market that opened up quite extensively.
And what happened is my mom has always been a real estate investor. So entrepreneurship and real estate have just been in my blood for 4 generations before I even had a say so in it.
Yeah.
And the first house that we flipped was actually one of her houses. And I fell in love with the house and the process. So we still don't flip to sell. So when we flipped that first one, I moved in. and nobody made any money, but I fell in love, and they got a great tenant and I got a great landlord. So it's happy. And I mean, honestly, if I was going to be moving out of mom and dad's house, I was going to call dad to unclog the toilet for me anyway. He might as well be my landlord.
Might as well. Might as well. Wow.
So, and then the next year we flipped another one, which they turned into a rental. And then the next year they did two, which my brother moved into one of those. And that's where I am right now, is his house that mom owns. So it was 2014 before I bought a house, flipped it, and sold it without the training wheels. And I did 5 or 6 with mom and dad, learning the process, because I hate the TV shows and the stories I see online of people taking on $50,000 or $100,000 projects when they've never done a kitchen counter replacement. They've never replaced a toilet, like a small job, just to show you that there needs to be a process, there needs to be an expectation, there needs to be a lot of things going on. And entrepreneurs know that. I mean, we live and die by our systems. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with houses and real estate, but I don't want to see, I hate to see people, especially women, watch the shows, go find what they think is a deal off the MLS, plan on putting their 401k or their husband's 401k in it, and then hoping and praying that they double down and make a bunch of money. And it gives me chills just to think about it. And it happens every single day.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So can I just say something right now to everyone listening to our voices? What you see on TV is not real. I don't care how much they call it reality. It's not real. Okay? Period. I don't, there is, who could think? Who in their right mind? You know, it just drives me nuts when you're sitting here watching some quote reality TV show and somebody's having a little private conversation over here and you just happen to be listening. There's a freaking cameraman standing there and they know it. Don't even make, oh my God. Okay, I'm done. Anyway. Sorry.
I thought about watching one of those shows and like videoing myself watching it, because it drives me absolutely insane. And guys, they're making a lot of money off those shows. Yes. The stars, the networks, everybody, it is a money maker, and it is sprawling out into the world, and people are losing money left and right because of the hopes and dreams they found on this show.
Well, and not only that, a lot of the quote stars of those shows, their lives have been destroyed. Yeah, because of that. And remember, this takes editing, lots of editing. They've got to tell a story. So you think about your day and somebody's going to follow you around with their camera. It's going to be pretty darn boring, right? Unless they edit it to tell a specific story. I mean, that's what this is about.
I love, in 30 minutes, we can go through an 87-day flip.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yeah, I saw those numbers, but I didn't think anything about it. I mean, 87 days, how fast does that go? I'm like, really fast when your money is going out.
Yeah, right.
Door.
I know. All right. So I think we're going to need to get off of this before my blood pressure gets even higher. But it's crazy. It really is crazy. And I know my audience is much more intelligent than that, because they're listening to us for a reason, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I know that those shows attract women, and I'm trying to attract the same women to say, no, let me show you how it really works, and let me help you from getting into a really bad situation. You can watch those shows, get some ideas, but let me show you how it really, really works. So we're going after the same audience, so I don't want to step on any toes.
Yeah, I get it. And we remodeled our house in 2009 actually, and the entire house, and we're talking 1,600 square foot house. It's not that huge, but everything was touched, and complete gut of the kitchen, complete gut of the bathrooms. All flooring, totally changed everything, and I did all the work up front. We lived in the house for 12, 13 years before we remodeled. So we knew the flow. We knew how we used it. We knew what we wanted. So we did all that work ahead of time for design and not just aesthetics, but how we used the house. And then the process was so flippin' easy. It was so easy. We were done with the entire house in 5 weeks.
That's awesome.
Everything. I mean, and we lived in it during the whole time too.
That's
So
insane.
it was totally insane, yes. But for 5 weeks of my life, I can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so there are so many, just like you said, to bring it back into the audience trying to follow us. Sorry, guys, but hey, we got to get off on our soapboxes now and then. Processes are everything. Plans, processes. Now, not, analysis paralysis. We're not talking about that. We do want to take action, but the more you plan ahead, the more you really try and find any of the pitfalls that might happen and try and circumvent them before they happen, and have this process in place with someone who knows what they're doing. This isn't just their first rodeo. It's going to be so much more smooth. So tell us more about your day to day. So give me an idea, because you're being a crazy lady and all over the place, but your business probably is, you have certain things you have to do. What does that look like?
When I started investing and I started buying houses, I did 14 deals in my first year, and I've done 57 deals now, 3 years later. So, I've always been busy and crazy and running around and lots of different phones going. But I did that for 2 years, because for 2 years I worked my tail off. And now I have 19 houses that pay me rent every single month. I have 19 apartment units that pay me rent every single month. I have 7 chunks of land, and 2 of those pay me every single month. But now I'm able, because I lived for 2 years like nobody else was willing to do, but now I'm 32 and I have 30 extra years to be retired. I can flip-flop back and forth. I can go somewhere with my husband. I can go on field trips. I can do all those things because I basically, went crazy for 2 years, but I could stand anything for 2 years, knowing that I was going to have 30 extra years to really love and live my life.
So now you're not stopping though. You're continuing to work. You're not just saying, I did work for 2 years. Now I've got, income for 30 years and I don't have to worry about life.
No, I teach a lot more now than I used to. And I have a lot more fun than I used to. But part of coming to Knoxville every month is to drive by and check on stuff and to make sure everything is like it's supposed to be. Now, I'm not like a hovering kind of landlord. I don't helicopter, but I like for people to know that I am in and around, and it might be a couple weeks before I'm back, but I will be here. And so one thing that I did this week, it was my brother's birthday, so I came this week, and I looked at 2 houses to buy 2 more houses. I am renting one of our units in the triplex while I'm here. I was able, as the first of the month, I was able to do some stuff at the trucking company. Like, there's just a lot of different things that I do, little things that I don't know that I actually scheduled to do, but that I got done because I was here.
That's it. Yes, it makes sense. So what I hear you saying is you actually did the work that obviously these TV shows say you're supposed to do, but they don't really show the reality of. But you did the work of buying a house, figuring out the best layout for it, the best changes that need to be made for it, making those changes, and then either renting it out or selling it. Sounds like renting it out, because that's obviously a monthly income.
I do lease options, which is also weird.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. No, that's a wonderful. That's our first house was almost going to be a lease option kind of idea, but instead we moved to another area and didn't do it. But that's and I know many people who've done lease options where they lease it for a while and then basically apply that money to actually purchasing the house.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but that still gets you like a monthly retainer, we call it, obviously in the online world. So a monthly revenue, monthly income. And as long as you can keep that property, thank you. I was thinking staffed at first for some, because I was in the staffing industry. Sorry. Rented. Then you have that. And it's, as long as you don't have downtime, then you're good. Or at least as long as you have savings for that downtime.
The thing about lease options is people pay me $10 or $15 or $40,000 to move into this house. So if they leave, I have their money to float me and my payment for the next, 10 months. But I usually get somebody in the next month or two that'll move in, give me another 10 or 15,000 to move in.
How in the world could they just let go of $10 or $15,000?
I had a woman give me $40,000 and leave in 6 months.
What? Why?
Her sister bought a place in South Carolina and the weather was better.
And she's just fine with giving away.
Easy come, easy go. She got it in some sort of insurance settlement or something.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Not more than 40,000, and I I mean, I could have said that I was going to require 50 or 60 and she probably would have given me that, but 40 was pretty good.
Yeah. That's kind of a pretty good profit.
Yeah.
No
On no
problem.
money
On
invested
nothing
in it.
else. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing invested
Yeah.
and $40,000.
Just
And
out of the
after
blue.
she left, it took me 2 months. I got somebody else to move in for 10,000, and they stayed for a year, not even a year. They moved in last October and left me in July. And I've got it out there on the market right now again.
So they gave you 10,000 plus the monthly, plus they
Yeah,
paid monthly?
10,000 to move in and 800 a month until July. They actually left in August, so September, October, so it's first of November. So I'm due or overdue for somebody to move in.
Wow. Okay.
I
So
made $50,000 on one house that I had like nothing invested in,
yeah.
plus monthly income.
Yeah. So let's you did that for 2 years. You now are living with those investments and adding more and kind of it sounds to me like you have this traditional idea of a portfolio. And so
Yes.
you have this portfolio and you are adding and subtracting from it and making decisions based on your life right now. So right now you're married, 2 stepkids, life changed a bit from 5 years ago. You can add and subtract based on where you see your life going here pretty soon. So I assume you have like a 5-year plan, 10-year plan based on what your portfolio is now right now. Is that right?
Yes, and actually, I bought 3 houses this year, and most people don't say that, and I say it so casually. And so I feel pretty good about what I've added to the income for this year. And next year we'll buy some more houses, or we might buy some apartments, or a mobile home park, or self-storage units, or whatever. We're trying to get to an income of 50,000 passive income coming in. That's more than what we need to live in East Tennessee or North Georgia comfortably,
You're
exceptionally
talking per
comfortably
month?
per month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, places in California probably need that every week. But,
Yeah.
for us, where we are, that's more than comfortable for us to live on and start our own family. So our 5-year plan includes a kid of our own and really doing the mom thing and being, you know, having the money coming in, but still full-time momming and, teaching and doing other things because I've decided in the last year, I love helping other people get their deals done too. And there's not enough women in real estate, especially in weird real estate, teaching other women how to retire early or how to just be able to retire or how to just have that side pot of like creative income coming in. And I feel like that is my place in the market. And so I've been doing a lot of that this year. I'm going to do 10 times as much of that next year. Mm-hmm. And I have an absolute blast doing that. So I don't know that my plan really includes that many more houses or apartments as much as it includes helping other people get to their dreams too. Now, that being said, though, I would like to buy some businesses because I've never bought a business.
Okay, so your acquisitions are properties or businesses. Wow. Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, I just see the name Whitney's Weird Real Estate, right? I mean, I just see that name. You just mentioned weird and it just goes with Whitney and then, yeah, let's just go there.
Yep.
So, but it's still a portfolio. I mean, you've pretty much got the portfolio started with your monthly revenue and all that kind of stuff. And it's just going to tweak a bit. It's just going to change a little. But, I got power parents, and we call ourselves power parents, Whitney, because most of us, you haven't yet, but most of us have gone through potty training, which is nothing compared to running a business. So if you can do that, you can do anything. So we have a power already as parents. So that's why we are power parents. So power parents, listen to what she just said. So she's been for the 2 years scraping and just figuring this stuff out, even though she had an education in it and she knew exactly what to do based on mom and dad and previous experience. But she's had, this is her spin. This is what she does. And so she's had to buckle down and head down and do the work for the last 2 years, at least. Obviously, nobody's made in just 2 years. You had many other years of that. And now she can look up and go, okay, now I know this business inside and out. I know how to adapt to the changes. I know how to change with the economy. I know how to change in a particular market, in a particular area and school district, blah, blah, blah. Now she can look at that and go, I can take that experience, and people are probably asking you, Whitney, right? How did you do this? Right? That's what
All
they
the
always
time.
do. They always come
Every
and say,
day.
wow, I see you doing this. How did you do it? And if you get enough of those people asking you how you do it, and then if you don't create a course of some kind or a mastermind or something, then, something's wrong with you, because you cannot spend all of your time teaching each of those individual people all the time. You won't have time for anything else. So I assume that's what you're doing. And, and that's what really our whole system is set up for, especially this amazing internet thing that we've got.
Yes.
Because you're
Yes.
talking about a physical, location-based business that you can then turn into a passive income stream. That's
Absolutely.
not totally passive. I mean, you still have to put energy into creating courses or doing a mastermind, creating what you're going to talk about each week. But still, you can do one-to-many instead
Yes.
of one-to-one.
Absolutely. And I love that approach to it. And I've been working towards that for the last year. And I think in the last month, I've really hit my stride and know where I'm going. And I've got a plan for that. And so it's going to be a lot faster now that I've got all my kinks out. Just like when I was flipping, there was some things I had to learn. I had to bump my head against the wall a couple times, but got it. And I'm ready to rock and roll now.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I bet you have some pretty amazing systems in place for the whole house flipping kind of thing. Tell me a little bit more
Yeah.
about that.
I teach 14 different ways to find off-market properties. I'm the broker for Whitney Buys Houses, but I'm kind of like the anti-realtor because the good deals aren't on the MLS. The good deals get snatched up before they hit the MLS, or they never even get to an agent's hand. So I teach people how to get deals before agents get to them. And a lot of agents actually love my system because it makes them better as listing agents, because they start to think like an investor instead of like a realtor. Or a lot of agents also want to work with me because they want to get out of chasing that clear to close. And they want to be able to do what I do and not have to do what they're doing now. So I work with lots of agents. I totally respect the game, but I don't want to play it. So I teach, sending yellow letters, direct mail to people's houses, putting those signs out on the side of the road. I teach how to put Facebook messages or Facebook posts up and then follow up in messages to get a deal, because any salesman knows that you can screw it up in the first 5 minutes if you don't know what to say and how to ask yes questions to get you to the deal, to get you to closing, to keep your seller happy, to keep your buyer happy. All of that is really, really important. And that's what I've learned from a very organic, small level. And most people, if they do one deal a month, they're completely happy with that. I don't tend to attract the people that want to do 55 deals a month. And there's lots of people that do want to do that. I just don't attract those people. I don't want to say slow and steady, because one deal a month is not exactly slow. But I find the people that want a more steady approach instead of just coming out of the gates trying to do 50 deals in the next 5 days and losing themselves in all of the scramble.
Yeah. So I hate the word balance, but I get it.
Yeah. And it took me 2 or 3 years really to find out where my balance was. If I have more than 7 houses that I'm advertising at a time, my balance is way out of whack. But occasionally you have 7 houses that you bought. Now you got to sell them. But then a month later you turn around and you only have 2 and your phone's not ringing as much. And now you got to go buy more. And there's definitely a balance to that roller coaster.
Definitely. All right. So you mentioned my pet peeve, my all-consuming passion right now, and that is Messenger. So are you actually doing that in an automated way through Messenger, or are you just doing it one at a time?
I teach it one at a time,
Okay,
because
we've got to talk.
I'm teaching my students. I am working on myself like a messenger bot automated so that I can funnel people through and stuff like that. But for my students, I really keep it low. But we can talk about that if you want to.
We got to talk. Yeah.
Okay.
And the audience knows why I'm saying that.
Okay.
So, anyway. That's awesome, though, that you are embracing that new tool, because I know lots of people who are just starting to come into that world and automate as much as they can these techniques and these systems. So what types of systems do you use to keep track of everything?
I'm terrible to use a pen and paper and a filing cabinet and Excel spreadsheet. But my students also like that because I'm not trying to teach them real estate and some fancy software.
Yeah.
And it's hard enough to learn how to talk to people and get a contract signed and all this, than to also learn how you need to log it and reports and this and that. So I, as a millennial, do things with a pen and paper instead of technology. And I understand the pitfalls, but that pen is gonna work.
I'm not gonna try and sell you on anything. I promise. I
No,
promise.
it's fine.
As a non-millennial old lady. I'm just as unique in my bracket as you might be. So
Yeah.
I embrace that uniqueness. And
I use, colored papers, colored files, and I teach that also so that, it, like my seller lead sheets are on green paper because we make the money from the
from
lead.
seller, yeah.
And if you're going through a stack of paper, you can find the green ones.
Yep.
The blue ones are for buyers, just because that was alliteration. But, like everything has kind of a color code to it and a system to it. And I teach my students that, and they really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, and you're working in a physical world. You're not working in an
Yes.
online world. So it makes sense. I have no problem with that. And I'm sure there either will be, or even better, you could help create a software system that could help you do that and
Yeah.
color code it the way you want and do all that same system you have physically. You could probably create a software system that matches.
Never thought about it like that.
Yeah, you might need to think about that. I could hook you up, sweetie, with someone who could do that with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's
Pretty cool.
that's where, when you find those things that are missing
Yeah.
from an industry and you're in it and you've created your own way of doing it that really works and that students love and all that stuff, that right there, and especially if you're still doing it still paper, what if there's somebody in Mumbai that needs to do it and they can't get their hands on that green paper, or they can't get their hands on that colored folder or whatever. But if you could do that online with the same color coordination, the same process, they log it here and then drag it over here, and yeah.
Well, that'd be super awesome too when like my students send me the lead sheet so that I can go over them or look at them or help them, strategize how to make 3 different offers on every property. So if they could just, shoot it to me instead of having to take a picture and upload it and then send it, like that would be awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk about Google Sheets and Google Docs.
I just found out about those this summer.
Oh my goodness. We have to talk. Yes. Okay. Amazing. So but what I'm impressed with is that you have really created these systems that match your thought process in this whole thing. And it's not just teaching people how to be real estate agents and just try and go out and find more houses to represent. You're really taking it the next level and going through a unique perspective in this industry that is so saturated with people trying to all do the same thing. Right? Isn't it saturated with people trying to do pretty much the same thing?
Yes, it is. And it's also a whole lot of men trying to fight for nothing when I seriously, I teach a lot of women and they can slide in and get some deals that men couldn't touch. Yeah. And it's because the men were fighting over doing it the same way that some guru told them how to do it, which is also another old man sitting up on a stage. And when I teach them how to get kind of lean and mean about it, and my ladies go in and get it, and the guys are going, "How'd you find that?" Blah, 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 blah. And my girls are going, "My check should be made out too."
Yeah, right. And that's it.
They love it.
Wow.
They love it.
Yeah. So, and that's your market, and that's fantastic. Yeah. And I bet you there's some guys who would love to learn those processes as well, and who are not the ones who are fighting necessarily, that are embracing.
Quite a few men, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely love to get my perspective, and it helps them get their deals done too.
So what is your perspective? So tell me a little bit more about that perspective. Why did you look at this from a totally unique way?
I was taught to do real estate and to get a yes on the phone before I even went out to look at a house, to make sure that they were going to do a lease option or owner financing on it. And that just didn't work. I failed more times than I care to admit. And so I said, okay, well, if I just stop trying to do this and I can do that when I get to the house instead, I'm going to get in a lot more houses. But person to person, I know I'm a lot better than just on the phone.
Yeah.
And the guys try to go for the kill on the very first call, whereas I try to create a relationship and let people know that I just want to know about them. It's not about me. It's about them and how I can help them. And when you're helping sellers, when you honest to goodness want to help people, there's no shortage. There's no competition. There's no dead end of supply. It's always there when you really, truly want to help people. And that's what I teach my people how to do through conversations and the follow-up and their system. They've got tons of leads. Can't get to all of them.
I cannot tell you how thankful I am that you just said that last statement. Really, because it's so true. We can all. I've been contacted by real estate agents. I've got a very nice house in a decent neighborhood. We just, like I said, remodeled it. We've got a beautiful view of a lake. We're in a court down in the middle of the court. It's the yard is amazing. We've got privacy everywhere. Don't have to have anything on my windows, right? I don't shut my drapes every night like everybody else in the world does. So I've been contacted by a lot of real estate agents, and that's the first thing they want to do is just sell immediately. Immediately. I'm like, whoa, I don't know you from Adam. Why in the world would I let you in my house?
Somebody's told them they got to make 50 calls, and out of 50 calls, somebody will bite. And they're just going by the numbers. And I'd rather go through 5 calls and see 5 houses and buy one and get a lead on another one than to spin my wheels going through 50. And I can't stand it. And as a parent, you don't have time for 50 calls. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
No way.
Yeah, no. And not only that, the thing I love about what you said is you're building relationships. You're actually caring about the other person on the phone. What a flippin' concept.
I mean, we go way back to the basics.
Hello. This is what business is all about. And so this is also what, here's another pet peeve. I'm not going to always complain, people, I promise. But I'll just give you one more. and you've heard it before. I know the power parents who are used to this conversation have heard this before. When you follow some guru that just gives you some system and it involves anything that is just put something up and the people will come, and put a Facebook ad out and bring the people to it and they'll buy it. People still buy from relationships. If they don't know you, they've never seen you before. I don't know anybody who puts their money down for something that has never seen you before and never even come across what you have, unless you are standing on the corner selling buckets for a fire brigade when there's a fire on somebody's house. Then you're going to make some money and they're not going to care who you are because they absolutely need what you have. But that's pretty bad of you. Hello, don't do that. Give the bucket away so they can stop the fire on the house. Okay? Please. So we've got it, right? We're not going to just go out and put something up and hope everybody buys. It's still building relationships. And that's what you're doing. You're actually connecting with people and saying, how can I help you? No, really, I'm not, don't look at me as a real estate agent. I'm me. I'm Whitney, and I've got lots of experience, and this is what I've done. I'd love to see if I can help you. If I can't help you, I'll say, see you later, have a nice life, and, maybe connect you with someone who can. But at least I can find out.
And the other thing you said is I do have a lot of experience. When I started buying houses, the weird way I had lots of experience, but a lot of my students don't. But I like to work with them so that when we talk, everybody has more experience and they realize they're just so used to downplaying it that they don't know how to vocalize that to let a seller know that they are somebody with experience that they can trust, that they could go on and do the deal with. And, there's just so many different ways that we can draw the person out and put that into your advertising, because people like people.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said. People like people. They want to buy from people. They want to work with people. And I'd rather go with a person than some big corporation. I mean, that's what the whole shop local thing's about.
Yes, exactly. And, I agree with you. I have students in my mastermind that I teach about messenger bots. Okay. But I have students in that mastermind, and it's not that they don't know what to do. They already know what to do. They've got everything they need. They have everything they need sitting in front of them. It's just putting those puzzle pieces together and having the mindset and the confidence that they do have everything they need. And if they can't answer a question, they have a resource that they can turn to help them answer that question. Right?
Exactly. I feel the same way. Yes.
That's it.
A lot of times my students have been on YouTube so long that they've got themselves so confused. And so when I can give them a clear plan and break down this vocabulary that they've heard into regular words, then they're off. Mm-hmm. They're gone. Mm-hmm. They're doing deals. They don't hardly need me anymore. Like, you just need a little bit of a push and they're gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It is the most fulfilling incredible thing that I've had. And I have my feeling my dog's going to bark any minute. So just in case, letting you know. But anyway, it is really fulfilling, because what happens is, like with this mastermind, these people have clients. 80% of them have already closed their first client within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. And they've got income coming in, regular monthly income coming in from that one client that they finally were able to close. It is the most amazing. And now they get to deliver service and it's amazing. It is so amazing. It's so amazing. So, all right. So we've talked about systems. We've talked about planning. We've talked about lots of things that upset us. But I think they're very educational. So I have a feeling we have a lot of people out in the audience going, yes, amen. Yes. Hopefully we do anyway. Are you out there?
Hope so.
So, if there's somebody sitting on the fence and they're just kind of rocking back and forth and they're thinking, yeah, God, this sounds amazing. These gals are having a blast. Maybe I do know enough to do something, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe. What would you say to that person who's rocking back and forth on the fence that kind of wants to jump into becoming an entrepreneur or go to the next level as an entrepreneur, but they're not quite sure?
Well, anytime that we learn something or we do something new, it's really scary, it's really uncomfortable, and then it ends up being fine or amazing. And we've seen that throughout our whole life, even if it was just learning how to make brownies the first time, learning how to make a good, over medium egg the first time. Like, we destroyed eggs for weeks, right? But then we got it and now we're a pro at it. And it's the same thing with real estate. And, that's breaking it down to the basics, but they work. The foundation is the same. And the basics of real estate have been around since Jesus was here. Now we can talk about doing some automation. We can do the internet. We can do all sorts of cool things. But the basics, people to people, is the same. And you can't change that. You can't take that out of it. And the more people focus on that, the more they'll be able to get things done. So I understand. I've been new. I've been uncomfortable. But it wasn't that long ago, and I still put myself in uncomfortable positions just because I like to see myself grow. And when you're growing, you're going further than you ever thought possible. So don't stop, don't quit. You can cry on the kitchen floor if you have to, but get back up and keep going.
That's okay. That's it. You heard it, Power Parents. That's what you do. Just keep going. Just make yourself uncomfortable. There you go. There's your motto for the next couple of months. How can I be uncomfortable? And
because that's where the growth is.
It is. Yeah. Wow. Well, Whitney, I so appreciate it. We're going to have in the show notes how people can get in touch with you and find out more about you. But I really do appreciate you coming on and chatting with me. And obviously, I have a feeling we're going to be chatting a lot again real soon.
I think so. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
To get powered up for your day, just go to parententrepreneur.power.com and listen to any one of the over 100 episodes we've had so far with amazing entrepreneurs just like you. It might just help you feel like a grown-up again.